Good, good, good. Texas A&M week. Had a good bye week last week, preparation. Had an opportunity to go back and get some younger guys out some reps. Experiment with a few little formations, some wrinkles. And now we're into the full game week, getting ready to go out to Texas A&M. Leaving this Friday and playing that game, I believe, at 12 Eastern time. And so, looking forward to having a good matchup with them. They're a great football team, very, very talented. They've got great skill position players, some get-off defensive ends that like to get up the field and rush the passer, and an unbelievable head coach. So we're looking forward to the opportunity. Any questions?
Shawn, how, relaxing or relieving is it to come in and just be able to talk about football this week?
It's good. It's really good. That's what we're here to do. Play the game of football, focus on it, get those distractions out of the way, and now we've got a full week of preparation where we can just, solely focus in on Texas A&M and what we need to do to get better and try to accomplish that.
Shawn, how did you measure progress during the bye week? Was it, hey, we saw some good things on the field, we were able to talk to some recruits and really make some inroads there, or, our players got more comfortable from the week before when things were a little more chaotic?
Well, it was fly by the seat of your pants the week before, and so this time we had a little bit of preparation, a little bit of normalcy. So when we took the field, we could say, all right, this is what we've got to go out and do. We don't have any distractions here on Monday night or Tuesday morning, and I'm the head coach, and let's move on from there. But it was an opportunity for us to, number one, to get out on the road recruiting, which I thought we did well, and kind of spread the South Carolina message, and not to sell the university by no means, because we certainly don't have to do that with this fine institution, but to see younger players, to get our preparations in, whether it be new packages or new personnel, to get those in and see how they work.
Yeah, you just mentioned it, staying on that, the wrinkles that you just mentioned, the new packages. How much was that of last week, or is it, should we expect a lot of different things heading into this game?
It's some things that we've always had in and just not ever had the opportunity to kind of get them in the course of a game. We started on them a little bit last week. It's something we've always practiced, but like I said, it's just something we haven't utilized during a lot of the games. But we're trying to implement a little bit of different wrinkles and attack people a little bit differently, and we were able to kind of jumpstart on that.
Shawn, how beneficial was the bye week in helping you become more comfortable in your new role?
It's still moving really fast, to tell you the truth, but the open week, not having a game to prepare for this past Saturday was a nice break, because like I said, that week went really fast for myself and our football team. It gave me an opportunity to kind of get my thoughts in order, to have a plan in place that you just didn't have to go and make decisions the day before or the night before. You can think things out thoroughly and move on from there. So it helped me to a great degree.
Shawn, are you looking for Perry to stay in the whole game, or would you try to put in maybe Mitch or Nunez to shake it up a bit?
I'm looking for us to have the opportunity to win the football game. If it means for Perry Orth to stay in there and lead our football team to the victory, then of course we're going to do that. You've all seen Nunez and Connor Mitch in action, and they both bring different things to our football team. Whether it be a Nunez package, who knows? It may be more speed option with him out there. I don't know. That'll be played out during the course of the game and how it's kind of flowing. But right now we're stable with Perry. We think he's done a good job in his last outing, and we think our team is kind of falling in place behind him, and they know exactly what to expect from him. So we're pretty pleased with that.
You mentioned the defensive end position, but Myles Garrett is really the leader of that bunch and really talented. How do you stop a guy like that?
I don't know if you stop a guy like that, but you certainly can't take 7-step drops and get us in third down situations and let him rush the passer. I mean, it just doesn't match up. I don't care what kind of offensive tackles you got. You've got to mix in protections. We've got to slide protect. We've got to move the pocket. We've got to have some cut protections on there. But we can't give him the same protection, over and over and over again to let that guy get off the ball and get up the field and haul the other defensive end. Both those guys can rush the passer. They've got a good front seven that can get after you. But we just got to keep them at balance. No third and longs. I'm sure we'll have a few that we'll have to sit back there and count on our offensive line to do a great job. But we've got to also be smart in how we do it.
Shawn, going back to the different formations you guys have been tinkering with over the last week, watching this game like on television or from the outsider's perspective, do you think are y'all going to look markedly different perhaps than you have, or is it going to be that cut and dry? I
don't know if if you're just average fan, you'll probably say, oh my God, I haven't seen this, I haven't seen that, but you'll see a little bit more consistency. At times we would throw a certain formation out there and maybe run 2 plays out of it where it was really beneficial and never get back to it. We'll probably stick with, some of those formations that you might not have seen in the past, maybe just once or twice a game. You'll probably see more of those.
Growing up being a South Carolina guy, did you have any kind of familiarity with Texas A&M? How did you view that program?
To tell you the truth, I never even thought about them growing up. Probably the first thing that I always knew about the Southwest Conference, but to tell you the truth, I had no reason to kind of study Texas A&M or follow them for any reason.
How much have you engaged with John and Lorenzo in terms of things you want personally for them to do defensively during the bye week, and maybe ideas that you would like to see implemented?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. I think if you look back to our Vandy game, the plan was pretty good in place. They hit us on a couple of stretch zones, and that's something you just got to get off blocks and make tackles. And the interior defensive line have got to, they've got to get off those blocks. They can't get cut at the point of attack. We're going to implement a little bit new scheme of things. We're going to get a little physical in practice. We're going to cut. We're going to full tackle, take to the ground, and it's not going to be the first time they see this in game type situations. So whether that may be the biggest change, it may not be. But I'm certainly paying close attention. I watch them out there each and every day in practice. I see them coaching and teaching, and unless I see something that's just needs to be changed, I'm going to let Coach Oak kind of handle it.
You talked about the quarterbacks being back in the fold, but as in general as a whole, is this as healthy as y'all have been in quite some time this year?
I think so. Debo Samuel's still out with nursing a hamstring injury, but other than him, we're pretty much good to go. We don't have a problem with the injuries at this point, and everybody's pretty fresh and solid, and we're ready to get after it this week.
Shawn, you've obviously known college football in the Carolinas a long time. I am curious, as you went out last week and recruited and saw some of the same people, whether it's coaches, parents, players, how differently were you received by them just in everything that's happened in the last couple of weeks, and how'd you handle that?
It was really odd, and you always, whether you're a South Carolina coach, Clemson coach, you always get the looks when you show up to football games, but I had a lot of people that were just coming up and extending their hand, and it didn't matter if they were Clemson fans, Georgia fans, South Carolina fans. I mean, it was almost like, hey, we're behind you. Let's go do this. You can do it, and it was just a really good feeling. I encountered so many new faces with just strangers just coming up to you, and I don't know I don't know how this interim thing works, but I can imagine a lot of places the interim head coach doesn't get treated like that. It's kind of just waiting for this guy to get out of here and let's get the next coach in. But I never got a feeling like that was the case.
You addressed the injuries a second ago. Is Rico McWilliams available to you this week after that concussion?
Yes.
And on the quarterback situation, you look at the depth chart, and I think Connor is listed second, Lorenzo is listed fourth. Is that just where they are? Do you read anything more into
that's
that?
just something for you guys to kind of write about, to tell you the truth. We just, Perry Ort's our starter, and we, second, third, or fourth, who knows? It's about what we need to do to get the job done. Nunez could be in there second series, who knows? But don't pay a whole lot of attention to that, about who starts the game.
Shawn, Zach is listed as Knott's backup. Could he also play some guard and maybe get in there at a spot beside center?
Let me tell you, we've been trying to get that accomplished for quite a while now, and it just hasn't worked out with not being out for the few games, and then last game we had to suspend Allen Knott for academic purposes, and it just didn't work out. So Zach hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity to play the guard position. But, Allen's back full speed, and Zach is certainly ready to go at the guard position, so, after a full week of practice.
You made some changes immediately in your first week, trying to get guys, I think, to have more fun in football seemed to be one of your messages. Is that tougher as you move on through the season?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. We went through the course of last week, a lot of smiles, a lot of guys, running around, having fun at practice. We rolled right back out there yesterday. The same looks were on their eyes. Nothing had changed whatsoever. They were excited to get back. The open week has something to do with it. When you take something away or you have an extended time off, coming back is always a little bit more energetic than just continuing to practice over and over again. But when you look at these guys' faces, they're walking through the door, handshakes after handshakes, smiles. How you doing, Coach? How y'all? And just ready to go. We've got, I guess a fun football team right now. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but there's not a lot of long faces, not a lot of heads dragging. Everybody's working in the right direction and moving forward.
Coach, can you sense any extra excitement from Elliott Fry just getting to go back to the home state?
Well, I was just around him yesterday at practice, and Elliott's always got a little bit of excitement to him. He's got that wit to him. But I can imagine if you were that guy and you were going back to play in your home state and you had grown up, I don't know if he was necessarily an A&M fan, but he's got to have that excitement, that little twinkle in his eye, that spirit. He's a long way from home. He doesn't have many opportunities to go showcase his talents in front of the fans that grew up watching him kick. And I'm sure, if I put myself in that position, I'd be smiling from ear to ear and ready to go.
Coach Travell Wharton took over your former position. What have you seen from his coaching style and how the guys are reacting to him the past couple of weeks?
It was really good to have Travell here in the quality control position. Not necessarily in the coaching role, but around the players. And, they respect Travell. He's a South Carolina Gamecock, and he played a lot of years in the NFL, so he brings instant credibility. So when he speaks to our football team or to the offensive line, they understand exactly that this guy's done it, and he knows exactly what he's talking about. I think they've, opened him up and brought him into the position group and made him, he was already one of our own, but you know what I mean? When you're the position coach, it's a little bit different. And he's wearing that. He's got that little pride to go on with him. He enjoys it, and these players enjoy having him.
Back on the subject of Elliott Fry, given some of the red zone struggles that you guys have had this year, where would you be without him?
Elliott's a great kicker, let me tell you. To be without Elliott Fry would be, he's I don't know what he's leading us, what his scoring opportunities are or what his points scored are, but he's a heck of a kicker. We would be far worse off than not having him. I can tell you that.
I know this year is a lot different. You take it year to year, but what do you remember from last year's A&M game specifically, and did any of that kind of stay with you through the offseason?
Oh, from an A&M team, I remember speed, and they had a lot of speed that could cover sideline to sideline. And when I reflect on that game, I can look back saying we didn't. We looked tired, we looked sluggish, we just looked slow. There was a lot of things you can look back and say happened in that football game, and taken away from that was the speed. But then, of course, I think taken away from that was a little bit of overconfidence. I think our players went into the football game not being, I won't say prepared, but they didn't understand exactly what was fixing to come out there and hit them. And when it happened, it really slapped us in the face and slapped us really quickly, and it was hard to overcome. It was like taking that one shot that you can't ever recover from if you're in a fight or in a boxing match. And we took that one shot, and our guys, they had that shell shock look on our face, and it went downhill from there.
Shawn, with the red zone struggles, is it just a matter of execution, or is it a matter of trying to just line up and have new formations?
It's a combination of a lot of things. You've got to have some new formations. You've got to get downhill and run the football. You've got to make catches in the back of the end zone when they're thrown to you. There's a lot of things that you can point for the struggles right there, but no one in particular thing that we want to pinpoint right now. We've all got to do a better job coaching, assignment-wise, and making plays. And right now we haven't had the playmakers, and we haven't had the execution, and we haven't had the play calling.
Going back to what you were saying about Texas A&M, how do you factor in, or how do you get your team thinking to find a happy medium and maybe not being too hyped up, but might being too low going into the Texas A&M game because of the way it went last year? And then you know what I'm saying? Do you get that?
No.
Do you think you have to worry about that, or is it just that they're a fun team and you think they'll be ready?
I think they'll be ready. Overhyped? I don't know. I mean, I hear a lot of people, oh, are you going to be over anxious to get out there and play? I don't think you can ever be over anxious to do anything. I mean, so I don't think it'll play a factor whatsoever.
As the only known on-the-record candidate for the head coaching job, has Coach Tanner given you any idea when he wants to talk to you about the future and actually do a formal interview with you?
No, he hasn't shared that information with me. Right now, I would say this is a pretty formal interview. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, every single day I'm being interviewed, and he's watching this press conference right now, seeing, how I'm handling these questions and addressing the answers. And then, of course, he watches us game day and at practice. So, every single day I'm being interviewed, unlike a lot of other guys that are behind the scenes. But I'm sure in due time there's going to be the necessary, quote-unquote, formal interview. At least I would like to think so. And when it does happen, I hope what we've done from last week to this week and moving forward will say a lot as well.
Questions for Coach Elliott? All right, sir.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.